Bonsoir à tous et bienvenue à cette nouvelle activité dans le cadre du mois de l'histoire des Noirs, une collaboration entre le Café Baobab et Black Estrie. Alors ce soir, on a une discussion qui va être animée par Sibo avec 3 panélistes qui vont faire la parole aux jeunes, une discussion en anglais. Avant de laisser la parole à Sibo, notre animatrice de la soirée, je vais remercier les partenaires qui nous permettent de réaliser cette belle programmation. Donc la ville de Sherbrooke, le gouvernement du Québec, Action interculturelle, la Fédération des communautés culturelles de l'Estrie, et l'Université de Sherbrooke. Avant encore de laisser la parole à Sibo, on est vraiment très excités ce soir parce qu'on a reçu le petit livre à colorier dont on vous avait parlé au tout début de la programmation de ce mois, qui s'intitule « Les visages de Sherbrooke », où vous allez avoir 10 dessins de personnalités noires qui brillent à travers la région à colorier pour les enfants. On a aussi des petits crayons avec plusieurs teintes de brun pour pouvoir dessiner, colorier ces personnages-là, qui seront disponibles dans le croque-livre dès maintenant. Donc, en avant du Café Baobab, dans le croque-livre, vous allez pouvoir vous procurer les différents livres et des crayons à colorier. Donc, je vous souhaite une belle soirée. N'hésitez pas à commenter puis à donner vos impressions par rapport à la discussion. Et je vous laisse avec notre animatrice de la soirée, Sibo. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Aïssé. Thank you very much for everyone who's listening tonight. My name is Sibo, and I have next to me 3 amazing youth. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves in few words. Let's say 30 seconds. Tell us who you are as if you were talking to someone who's never known you. Go, 30 seconds. Would you like to start, Jennifer?
Yeah, so I will start. My name is Jennifer Quenum. I am currently a third-year business student doing a concentration in management and analytics. I am very happy to be part of this conversation today. And I am from Benin, West Africa.
Salutations, my name is Kerwins Saint-Jean. I'm a second-year student at Concordia University in Applied Human Sciences. And yeah, I think that's about it.
So my name is Korina Joseph. I am an owner and lead photographer of my own business, Korina Joseph Photography. I have a bachelor in communication and media studies, and I'm very happy to be here tonight.
Thank you very much, everyone. So since it's the Black History Month, I would like to start this discussion in a way Black people used to start discussion in a long time by telling stories. So as we are now in a land we call Quebec, we know it's a land that belonged to other people before us. We acknowledge it as our own today, but we know also it belonged to other people. So there is this belief that the First Nation on this land believe that there are 4 races that corresponds to 4 different elements. So I would like to tell you a little bit what they think about. And this is, take it as a story. It's a story. It's a made-up thing. And actually, I took it from The Last Airbender. I don't know if you know the manga. Okay, so here we go. So there are 4 elements: the fire, the earth, air, and water. Fire is the element of power. The people of Fire Nation have desire and will, and the energy and drive to achieve what they want. The Earth people, Earth is the element of substance. The people of the Earth kingdom are diverse and strong. They are persistent and enduring. Air. Air is the element of freedom. The air people detach themselves from worldly concerns and found peace and freedom. Water. Water is the element of change. The people of Water tribe are capable of adapting to many things. They have a deep sense of community and love that holds them together through anything. So I'm going to let you imagine in your minds, and everyone who is listening right now, which element corresponds to which people. So I'm not gonna say which it is, but I will give you a hint. For every air tribe or earth tribe or air people or water people, they have an issue with their element. So the fire people, they have issue with everything that has to do with a lot of heat, let's say sun. The earth people with their land, let's say the air people with what they breathe. The water people always have issues with water. So with that, I'm going to invite you to look at the cards that I put in front of you. They are actually the Uno cards. So today we're going to discuss about different things. So we have 9 numbers, and I have the first one. We have different topics we're going to talk about, And you're gonna choose which one you wanna start with, and everyone will discuss about it. And when you're done, you put your name in front of you. So the first one, I have one. I know none of you have the number one. I have the one, so I'm going to start with this. It's the Black History Month. Guys, when we say black, beyond color, beyond melanin, what does it mean to you to be black?
Loaded question.
That is loaded for sure.
Indeed.
I don't want to start it with an intense note here. So I guess I'll start. I think that being black for me is always trying extra hard in whatever I do. I feel like being black is going the extra mile. Being black is standing out. Being black is proving a point in every environment that we find ourselves in, because I think there are certain biases that do really like engorge the way we are, the way, we talk, the way our culture is, the way we speak. And I feel like in this environment, we always have to prove a point. Well, that's how I feel in the environments that I find myself in at school, even in daily activities, even at work. I feel like I have to get over that concept that people have of me. So yeah, that's
Like,
what
you have to read the room.
definitely.
You have to know like who you're with, and like
Yes,
if you can actually be your authentic self.
exactly.
It's always like a game of like how black can I be without being judged?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Are they ready for me? Are they ready to see that part of me?
AKA code switching. And it's kind of sad too, because sometimes you never know who's the real you, right? You, as black people, always adapt to our environments, and at some point, we kind of lose ourselves, right? Especially with black people, I go to 110%. I like no doubt about it, right? And an environment when I'm working, it's a little bit less, and those with my peers who are non-black, it's relatively the same. But there's some layers about me that I restrain myself because they don't necessarily know if they can handle it, or they will never truly understand it. And the only people who truly understand it are the people who look exactly like me, in a very diverse way, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've been told I'm not the same person depending on who I'm around. And yes, that is 100% accurate. I can be who I am. I can let my blackness speak for myself when I'm with my family, when I'm with like you guys, where it's like a safe environment so we can express ourselves freely. But like when I was in school and I was mostly surrounded by like Caucasians, non-black people, I was like, okay, I can't be the loudest one in the room. Oh, can I really wear my hair a certain way? Like, it's always like we're second guessing ourselves, always questioning what we can and what we can't do. And I guess to be black is sometimes just to be unsure of who we are sometimes and what we can and cannot do. Like for me, is it like I'm not black enough to be black because of my complexion, or I'm too black to be white? It's like I'm always in between. I'm just like you're trying to find yourself. So I guess being black is just constantly being on a hunt for your identity and who you can be and with whom you can be yourself.
Yes.
Wow, that was a loaded
Yeah.
answer for
That
the
was a
first
loaded
question.
answer.
Good job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, like, when you think about it, people are always like, be yourself, like, show your authentic self. But if I do show you myself, like, where I come from, tell you about my culture, would you accept me?
Yeah.
So it's definitely tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the only thing I can say is what's not to be black is to think that we're a monolith, right? In our blackness, it's so diverse, it is crazy. I mean, the languages we speak, the history, it's so different, yet it's exactly the same. The way we bathe ourselves, the way we eat, the way we cook.
Dance.
Yeah, the way we dance, too. I mean, the way we dance. And what else? Being black is complicated. It's complex. Being black is being that 10-year-old self always being stared at by your peers talking about slavery. Being black is always have to look right behind you thinking that someone will and most definitely attack you due to very little excuse. Being black is always to be always on guard, always alert, because this world will remind you that you're black whether you like it or not. But in that complexity, there's beauty. Being black is gold. Being black is priceless. Being black is influential. Being black is diverse. Being black is being you. There's no criteria for you to be black. There's no amount of music you can listen to, it's the amount of struggle you have to go through in order to identify yourself as black. The only thing I could ever recommend, or I highly recommend, is to know thyself. Because if you don't, you lose twice in the race of life.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm going to invite people who are watching us right now, please express yourself. If you're Black, what does it mean to be Black? And if you're from other races or other color, however you describe yourself, yeah, share with us. We'd like to know. Are you ready to go to the next discussion?
Heck
Okay,
yeah.
next subject. Who wants to go next? If you don't, I would choose.
Okay, so what do I have to do?
You can take any color, any number you want,
Okay, got it.
which is
7.
7. Do you have a color for me?
Blue.
Blue. Okay, so 7, we're going to talk about challenges. Wonderful. So there's a lot of challenges that Black people face. It could be employment, it could be discrimination, it could be so many things. So you said, what color again?
Blue.
Blue. Blue, so it's la dépendance, addictions.
Oh.
I'm going to introduce this. Let's say, I will give an example for me. I have a lot of addictions. Reading, I could read for hours and no one stop. Oh my goodness. Materialism. I like to keep little things that remind me things. But my worst addiction is sugar. Like even coming here before, I had to take a cookie before I came in. And as we know, sugar can be more addictive than cocaine.
Yeah.
So
And dangerous.
Yeah.
very. So I would like to ask you, what are the challenges that you see that Black people face or that you face in your life?
Does it have to be for like addiction or
No,
just
that was an example I was
That's an
giving because
Gotcha. Sure.
with the color you're choosing,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of challenges. I don't know which one to pick. So I'm like, okay, depending on the
Sure.
number, I will do this and open the discussion. So go ahead, tell us, what challenges do you feel like Black people are facing these days?
There's so much. I mean, right now, my mind is juggling as to finding out which one can I speak about the most. I mean, there's so many problems they got going on. I guess, materialism or, economically, socially, politically, just individually as well. We face our battles as it is, and even at that, those battles internally could be never understood, except for your peers. Even at that is some. But economically, we always are, for the most part, the biggest spenders when it comes to stuff around us. But, we don't really truly know how to invest. We're not necessarily financially literate, and that's something that is a big problem for us because when it comes to money talks, right? If you want to build something, you can either try to ask for help or we can be self-sufficient and use our own money as a community like our fathers before us or our ancestors before us, right? Whether it be King, Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, the core, free movements, like they made sure that, with the power of money, they can take our leaders out of these institutions and then make sure they continue the fight. And nowadays, it's a little bit harder than usual. That's all the things I can think so far. How about you, ladies? Do you got any?
I like the economic point that you brought up. It's definitely something that we are struggling with. However, we're not predisposed with the right tools.
Yeah.
I think that needs to be pointed out. Think about people that aren't raised up in good neighborhoods or their family don't have the means. But then again, to have the means, you need to have an education. And to have an education, you have to have money to go to school, and it's really intense. I think that there's a lot that's linked to it that we need to go deeper in. It's not an easy issue, definitely not. So of course, like in the Western world, Black people that were born and raised here, of course it's not easy because growing up in those neighborhoods, your parents not having those means, but even people coming from Africa to study abroad, because I'm an international student, and for sure, like, it's really expensive. It's really expensive, even if you want to do your best to get an education, to get, a better life for yourself, a better life for your people.
Right.
I think that it's so expensive, and we need to have the means to have access to those facilities to make the best for ourselves. And I think that maybe that's where we need to tackle this. But also, it's not just giving money to people, but also educating them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's so complicated.
It is such a vicious cycle, and we could talk about this like for hours. We can do like this entire talk just on that. But tying into what both of you said is that when it comes to education, you have to pay to get your education, but after you have like your degree, you're not guaranteed to find a job.
Yes.
It is like significantly more difficult for people of color in general to get a job based on how they look, on their name, on so many things. And it just makes me think of my dad when he graduated university with a bachelor's in physics and applied math.
Dang.
He could not get a job until he did his Canadian citizenship to become officially a Canadian. So for years he was trying to find a job and he could not because he was an international student.
Damn.
So for me, I just like I consider myself privileged to be born here and here in Canada, and for my parents that were able to afford my education. But I'm fully aware that that's not the reality of many, many people. And I think that that is a big problem. Access to education, to get the Black community out of those poor neighborhoods into good schools. That way the parents can provide for their children. And instead of becoming a vicious cycle, it becomes a positive cycle of giving to the next generation.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you to put all your number 7s on the side and your 8 and 9. But you can keep them on the side, the 8 and 9, and you can see them. Now, who wanna go next?
Oh, 1 second.
I want you a 7, 8, 9 on the side. You have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 on the other side.
There you go.
Okay, who wants to go next? Just pick a card.
Kerwins,
Yeah, I'll
for
I'll
it.
go next. Yeah.
Okay.
Dang. Okay. Hold on.
Black
Hold on.
card.
Number 4, red.
Number 4, red.
Yeah.
So 4 is about love,
Oh.
black love. And red, red I have is like right now there's a problem, there is a challenge about a lot of men and women who are not happy in their marriage or in their couple because of culture, let's say. They're not happy, but they don't want to split. That's one of the issues we see. I'm going to ask you, how do you see love among Black people? What is your take on that? It could be about Black with Black or Black with other cultures, anything about Black love. Go ahead.
I love this question.
Go
I
ahead.
just have to
You
say
can
that
start.
I love it.
Go ahead.
Because as Black people, we're always, well, not all, maybe not always, but often we hear, don't date outside of your race. Don't, don't do this. Like, keep it within, that way you could pass along like your culture to your kids and stuff like that. And like for me, I like my partner, my fiance, like she's white. So not only am I in like a gay relationship, but I'm dating outside of my race. And I am so happy in my relationship because I have a partner that like accepts me for who I am and that like really accepts and knows Black culture. And like she knows that being with me means certain things, and like she knows that like when I see a cop car I get stressed because of stuff that I live. Like she knows that like if I'm dancing in the house to like si je fais genre du compas, like she knows that like this is like my time like for me, right? So I just feel like when people date outside of their race, it's often negatively viewed because we're always told to we're often told to like date within a race. And I find that when you're in an interracial couple, usually the Black community always just tends to give you like a look and be like, like in my family, most of my cousins, their partners are white. And we have like one cousin that her boyfriend is Haitian. And they're like, yes, keep it in the race, keep it in the family, keep it in the community. I'm like, what about all 10 other couples?
Yeah.
I have a question, Korina.
Yes.
Because you are mixed, right?
I am mixed. So my dad is Haitian and my mom is Egyptian.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Because you're saying outside your race.
Yeah.
Because you're dating someone who is not Egyptian and Black.
Exactly.
Would you say for someone who's a mixed race, let's say it's Black and white, would they consider it dating outside their race if they were like, let's say if you were dating an Egyptian man instead of like a white man, like would you say it's still?
Another loaded question.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for putting me on the spot. I really appreciate it. But it really depends because Egyptians have many different complexions. Like my mom is Egyptian, but she is white. Like she looks Canadian. Whereas some of my family also Egyptian, born in Egypt, like raised in Egypt, have a darker complexion. So they might not identify as Black, but they still look like me. So I guess it really depends. Like my dad, when like he married my mom, like it was outside of his race, even though like she's born on the African continent, you know? So I think it's really more of a visual thing. I hope that answers your question.
Yes. Go ahead, guys. What about you?
Honestly, because she's absolutely right. Be realistically, right, especially when we're here in Quebec and Canada, North America, right, it's gonna be impossible to not date outside of your ethnicity, right, and that's completely normal, right, as long as you do so without the intent of self-sabotage in your own community, right, with self-hate. I absolutely discourage that, right? However, I do support and like highly recommend Black love because there's again it's a multivariate thing, right? When it comes to Black love, the Black family, right, it has the most powerful tool ever, and many people, especially government elites, knew that. That's why they do their best to break it up. Right between now and like between 1970, right, it was easy for any Black man to get a job outside of high school, right? And the reason why the Black family is so powerful is because those are the same people who funded those leaders, those activists, right? Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Marcus Garvey, Split, the Black Panther Party, like all these people who want to create social change, right? And also like encouraging self-sufficiency. Right, and because of that, they realize that that's what they break the Black family. So what they do, they defund they defund like the factories that they work in, right? Because back in the day, like go to high school, right? You had like a exchange degree, sorry, like just like a working degree, right? Wood chopping, carpenter, you can get a job with your hands, right? Yeah. And now, next thing you know, they defund the factories that they work in. Now they have no jobs, right? And then there's the drugs that pull in afterwards by the government, crack cocaine. And now the Black man who's supposed to be the breadwinner for the most part, right, in that time, right, he has nothing to do. So what he does, he can pour his problems away with drug addiction or sell it to his own people in order to make a profit, right? Mm-hmm. It's a cycle of self-sabotage, right? And then afterwards, when it comes to that, what those people do? Either they die, right, and these families that they once had are fatherless, right, or they go to prison. And with that being said, comes the political power, right? These men can't vote. These men can't find another job that is suitable for them to provide for themselves and that. So just case in point to say that the Black family and the Black love is so powerful because it creates change, right? And without that unity, right, we wouldn't be here today. So that being said, I'm not going to hate on anybody if you date aside your race or ethnicity to be exact. Of course not, right? Because I get it, right? As long as you're happy, you're happy. But for me, as someone who loves everything that's Black, if you guys know me enough as it is, right? I just want to make sure that we do our best to work on ourselves first, and when we do have opportunities, to do and be more laxed, if you will, right? Then of course, yeah, I have no problem with that. And for any child who is born outside of the destiny, so half Black, half whatever, you're still Black to me no matter what, right? I will never ever tell you that you're lesser than Black, because I know that I felt that myself as a child, being Black because I like certain things, and then people thought I was like lesser Black because of that, or I'm too Black because I like music from the R&B in 90s, 2000s, right? From Angela Badu, from Erykah Badu, to Common, Tribe Called Quest, NW, all that stuff, right? So that's being said, Black code 110%, but love is love at the end of the day, so I can't discourage you to love who you love. So that's it for me.
May I ask a quick questions before we go to Jennifer? By the way, I was teasing him and I was saying I don't know who's Erykah Badu is. He's like, how come you don't know this? I find it interesting what you're saying, especially about the prison part, because if you look about the percentage of a lot of people who are in prison, a large amount are Black men, and if you see their percentage in the society and how much are in prison, you wonder how come it's only Black men who are doing these issues. It's Black men, of course, and indigenous people. But as you were saying they did this. I would like to have what do you mean by they? Who do you think are they who doing they?
Okay.
Yeah.
No. So government officials, right? From mayors, prevention, municipal, and all that jazz. So like actors like Ronald, like this is something more of American because I was raised in Georgia, so I kind of know all this stuff. Canada, however, I cannot say for sure. So that's something for me I have to learn outside once this conversation. But let's say put it in the American's perspective, right? So you have actors like Ronald Reagan, right, who will, also like other actors prior to them, right, they'll do their best to make sure the black man and the black family doesn't succeed, right? So first, again, I said defining the factors that they're working, right? Because all the dudes out there just like walked like their nearest factory and like worked and got the bread, right? Make sure they provide for family and all that stuff, right? So. And you questioning about like who they or the government. So in order to make sure that doesn't continue, right? So that like Malcolm X doesn't get out of prison for free because he got bail from the black community, right? You cut the funding. That's the most powerful part. And then afterwards, right? You make sure that in order to make sure that there's a sterilization, if you will, whether it be by the sterilization Tuskegee or like the mental or social sterilization would be devaluing the black family or the black man or black woman, right? So over-sexualization, calling black men lazy even if they work for free for 246 years, right? Just like, calling them thugs, right? Super thugs, like the case of like the exonerated five and back in New York. And just that that image of black men that people usually only see on TV shows and automatically assume that is the majority of what our life looks like, which is, to just clarify, it is a reality for some, but not for all. So it's stuff like that, the subliminal messages that make sure that, it keeps us down. But if you know thyself, right, you know thy worth, nothing can stop you, right? And that's why I encourage people to not only do their own research, but, to show that knowledge, like to show that, blackness in its own is a beautiful and strong thing, and nothing in this world should ever tell you that much other than yourself. The only person that can tell you that is the person that's looking in front of the mirror, and that's about it.
It comes down to
you.
self-love.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You mentioned fundings, and it was last year that the government actually gave a lot of millions dollars to black entrepreneurs. So I can't wait to see how that is going to be.
Same here.
So I'm very excited about this. So, for me, I'm thinking, yeah, all those things happened in the past. Yes, it happened in the U.S. and in Canada as well.
Of course.
But I believe like we're going towards something positive because everyone is pitching in to do something good. So I can't wait. How about you, Jennifer? Black love. Express yourself.
I'm for Black love, but I think it's deeper than just being for Black love because you're Black.
Yeah.
I think that just being born and raised in West Africa, Benin, obviously my parents are Black, my sisters are Black, people that surround me are Black. Yeah. Everything, most people I see are the same skin color as me. Mm-hmm. So obviously when I grow up and I think about love, obviously I think about someone that looks like me. But I started thinking about it, and we need to think about the fact that going outside your race is not necessarily a bad thing. And I think that now that I understand, but I think that my parents back home or even people that are surrounded by predominantly Black individuals don't understand that dating someone out of your culture that's not the same skin color as you doesn't mean that it's the end of your culture, because you're definitely sharing it to other people. And I think that we don't look at that option. Of course, you might not be with someone that's Black. However, you can definitely share your culture with them. It doesn't necessarily have to stop when you date them. And I'm pretty sure, like Korina, what you said, you're definitely sharing your culture with your partner. And, the cycle doesn't stop there. And I think that that's what we need to tell people, because obviously, yes, Black love, because people want to keep the culture going and be unified, because it definitely brings us Black people together. Yeah. However, it doesn't have to stop when you decide to go outside of your race. Yeah. If you, as you said, you need to know where you're from, you need to know about your culture, and it definitely starts there. So if you know who you are, where you come from, dating outside your culture, dating outside your race doesn't necessarily need to be a bad thing if you do your part.
Yeah.
So,
and I think it also comes down to who have you seen before. Like for me, my parents, but your parents, it's different. If you're the first person to date outside of your race, outside of your ethnicity, it might be a little bit scary. But if everyone, quote unquote, that you know has done it, then it's acceptable. It becomes acceptable, right? But like for you growing up, everyone looked like you.
Yeah.
You know, like your parents, like that, like they were your reference point. You know, my parents were my reference points, and probably your parents were yours, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's all what we know, because when we're young, we don't think about like dating outside of our race or someone like like we know we're talking about white people, but it could be like Hispanics, like it could be like an Asian person, like it could be literally anyone. It's just the whole concept of it.
Just need to add a last thing.
Yeah.
I think that people are used to Black love and want to stay in Black, like date people that are Black or that look like them, because it's definitely easier.
Oh, it's Oh,
Yeah, we need to mention that, because
Yeah.
when you date someone out of your race, you feel that you have the need to like tell them about.
Over-explain yourself.
Over-explain yourself.
I've lived that. Like I've had to over-explain certain things, and it's just so it's 100%. It's like you want to be with someone that like you don't need to put in that extra effort, let's say, to be like this is me, like this is me, accepting, you know, like this is my food, these are my dances, you know, like this is my music, you know, just all of that, and be like, this is how I express myself, and this is how I'll behave in this situation, but this is how you'll see me behave with other people that are like me, you know. So 100%, yeah.
I love your examples. It's very funny because you saying your references was people you were looking around you. For me, it was from the movies I was watching. And back when I was, because I was born in Africa, Bollywood movies are a big deal about love. For me, when I think about love and all those things, Indian men. This is very strange.
Yeah,
It's something that
Bollywood
is in your
stuff,
subconscious and
yeah.
you don't even know it. But as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, that's why. Well, okay. So we have a question in the chat, and it goes with our number 3 subject, which is culture.
Oh.
And there's this woman, Joanna asked you. It's a question for the women. Korina, Jennifer. But please, we're going to start this with men first. So, Kerwin, if you have your opinion about it, please don't mind. Even if it's for just women, please do share your opinion.
The pressure is on.
Listen.
No pressure at all. This is a fun discussion, and you just show. This is an exchange of opinion.
Yes.
No, it doesn't say you're right or you're wrong. You're just sharing how you think, how you view things, and it's amazing because you're all diversified. Yeah. Like the water tribe. Just saying.
Oh.
Well, how do you understand Black feminism? As a young Black woman living in the global North, how do you view intersectional oppression in the global South? How does Black feminism differs from white feminism? Who wants to go first?
I think Kerwins got this.
There you go. Go, Kerwins. We're listening to you.
Okay, so there's a difference between feminism and womanism, right? So if those of you that know what womanism is, it's predominantly a Black, it's really Black oriented, but also it is accepting to all, right? Whereas feminism, for the most part, is mainly concerned of white women issues, right? There was a conversation between brother Frederick Douglass, right, and Susan B. Anthony, right? They were talking about, equality and whatnot. This is him being an abolitionist, which is, against slavery and trying to remove slavery as a means. And they were agreeing on everything else, right? Now, as Susan B. Anthony, the mother of feminism, if you will, right, was talking to Frederick Douglass, talking about, before we can prioritize the Black people to vote, we must prioritize the white women to vote, right? And hear me out. Susan B. Anthony is white woman, right? And she only focused on the white women issues. You feel me? Whereas Frederick Douglass was saying, like, how dare you, like sabotage like the priority of vote for entire nation, both Black men and Black women alike, over just simply white women, which shows us so like the main value points and the struggles is for many white women. Not saying that women don't have any struggles at all, by all means, right? They have their fair share, but it did not include, right, Black women as a whole, or any other women as a whole. You understand me? So now, we go fast forward to now, we have to add intersectionality, like intersectional feminism. So you're telling me that we have to add another word next to feminism to show that that it's all about all people, which is a problem in itself, right? Feminism is supposed to be for every woman, no matter what the color of the skin is, right? Which is again another problem. That's where womanism comes in. It's for, of course, for all women. There's womanism, African wisdom, but just womanism as a whole is for all colors. I think the book says itself. Color purple. Feminism, womanism is like purple and lavender, right? Which saying is in itself, yes, the idea is the same, but it's not technically the same. If you get what I'm saying, right? So, as for black feminism, black womanism, it's just feminism. Sorry, when it comes to those two, at the end of the day, it's just black feminism as a whole is not meant for black people. As sad as it is, right? I know. Again, intersectional feminism, but that's already a problem in itself because of it. So womanism is kind of like the way to go. That's like the ideology, the way to go, how to see things. So that is my take on that.
I knew you were going to talk about the book, The Color Purple.
Yeah.
I just knew it, and this is actually like a really important question because I'm gonna challenge it a little bit and say we're talking about feminism. We're talking about people that identify as women. What about people that do not identify as women? That are maybe non-binary, does this also apply to them just because they present as female?
Actually, that's a good. I couldn't answer it, even though I want to give the perfect answer possible. That's not for nobody. I couldn't answer that. I couldn't say. I really couldn't say.
Right.
But I was supposed so. Yeah. I mean, I hope so. Yeah.
I'm challenging you here because I know like you have like the knowledge, like like you're someone that's really like into like the specifics, like the people, like more like the political aspect. I'm more in like of like challenging things, Just like when Sibo said, "Oh, for the women on stage," I'm like, okay, but what if I don't identify as a woman, as a woman? Am I automatically put in another category just because of it? Mm-hmm. So when we're talking about intersectional feminism and let's say womanism, what does that mean to certain people? What does it mean to me to be a feminist and a womanist?
It's
right?
interesting that you brought that up. Actually. Let me expand a little bit the spectrum about another question we could talk about. Yeah. So black feminism as in the South. So this question was more about like where people are living, and I understand. How about right now, like black people who will live in a way that black girls can go to school? Some cultures where going to school is an issue. So how about that kind of feminism compared to we're not being paid the same amount? As opposed to we can't even show up in that workspace. How about that? What do you think, Jennifer?
I think that those are two different situations because it's different. It's definitely like a different part of the world. I don't think that we should like globalize the issues just because every area has their own particularities.
Right.
So, women that can't go to school, that's because their parents are not educated enough to know that women have to go to school, or they don't have the funds to bring them in the society. But here, it's like if women are not paid enough, that's a whole nother thing. It's because it's not because they can't work. It's just that, they're not paid enough. But we can't really compare both. We can't really minimize them either. And it's a really tough question. But we definitely need to take into account that these are two different areas. So when we talk about the subject, we definitely have to base ourselves on one area and then go on the next. You can't just generalize everything because we're different people. We don't look the same. We don't live the same lives. And the cultures are definitely different. Like, for example, back home, like in third world countries, you could definitely live off of like a couple of dollars. Like families live with a couple of dollars in a week. Like they don't need as much to live day by day compared to here. They do need much more than what they need back home. So it's definitely a different atmosphere economically. So we really can't compare them. So
essentially apples and oranges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the question was, how do they differ? Well,
I think Jennifer pretty much answered it how it differs. And like even just like looking, let's say in a Western world, it's very hard to like generalize that, because Western world, like let's just say like Canada versus Central America. Are they technically both Western? Yes. Is it the same? Not at all. Not at all. So it's very difficult to say, oh, because everything differs. It, like literally just talking about like being paid the same as men, it differs from province, from country, from territory. Like it is completely different. So it's a very difficult question to answer without actually doing some research. And this brings me back to my university days when I studied philosophy, like philosophy in gender, philosophy in race, philosophy in sexuality. These are all classes that I took to better understand what was going on, to complement my communications degree. And it is very, very interesting. There are so many different readings on this, even just talking about feminism and womanism. And I'm always pointing to you because like just that difference is a huge difference. So all this to say that they differ completely, and 5 minutes, 8-10 minutes is not enough to really get into it. We can have a whole conversation on this for sure.
Yeah, we need a podcast for that. That's what they.
Yeah. I'm going to invite people in the chat to keep asking questions, what they think, comments, everything. And we're ready for the next question. What's the next card?
Okay, I think I'm going to pick one.
Let's go.
Go for it. Go for
So
it.
I can't pick number 3, right?
No, 3 is done.
Oh, cool.
So 3 and 7 are done.
Number 4 looks interesting.
Oh, we did it.
We did 4.
Yeah, I told you to remove the 4.
Yeah,
Come
so
on,
that's
Jennifer,
Jen.
Jen.
So
Pay
number 3 then.
attention.
You
Okay, I'll do
3.
number 2.
Number 2, stereotypes.
And it's like the colorful color.
And
Yeah.
it's all the colors. So I'm
That's
going
smart.
to
That is smart.
to let you say what you want. The example that I had for me is there's a lot of stereotypes and from all around the world about Black people, depending on where they are. And there is this one, reaction, how we react to things people do to us, even to insult. You're going to react and say, oh, you're an angry woman, or the way you're going to present yourself, they call you a gangster or something like that. I have a question for you about those stereotypes. What comes to your mind, what comes to your spirit when someone calls you, let's say, monkey, nigger, those kind of things? Like, how do you react? Like,
Wow.
Whew.
First,
if it ever happened to you,
It never did.
Okay.
it
never
has.
did.
It has to be numerous times. Yeah. African butt scratcher. Again, you know the hard, the hard ER. You know, like all those things. They came. Oh man, as a kid, it was the worst. I think like Shaka Zulu, like fire coming inside my stomach. It was hard. Like I didn't know how to react at first. One time, yes, I punched him in the face, obviously, because I mean,
You're a pacifist. Come on.
I was what 5 years old, 6 years old. Like you think I'm gonna take that? I mean, obviously I don't control myself now as an adult, by all means. Yeah, I mean, like now to this day, I laugh it off as like saying like I know I'm a Black man. Whoever you referring to, like I mean, it must be Duppy, which is like a ghost in Patois. It ain't me. It definitely ain't me. You know, it ain't me. I mean, I know myself. I know my self-worth, right? But no, at the time,
It hurts.
it was a 7 gun. Yeah, like if I can say that. It was 7 gun. I mean, I got tense. Sometimes I was like a deer in headlights. I didn't know what to do. Like my body was sinking in. It was out of body experience, and then just after like knowing your self-worth, like you know, like really educating yourself and knowing where it comes from, and excuse me, I beg your pardon. I'm sorry about that. I hope you didn't catch that. But yeah, just
I heard it.
if you heard, that means everybody else heard. But yeah, just when you know who you are, right? There's nothing that can affect you, nothing but you. Of course, words hurt, right? By all means, right? Like at some point, you know, your skin is not impenetrable at all. Like there will be moments when you're vulnerable, right? You have your off days. But yeah, no, I'm an amazing, self-accomplishing Black man that's doing his best in his world, trying to educate those around me. And there's no human being in this world or nothing in this world that can scare me except for the Almighty, right? You know, praise Allah. And then that could, you know, that could scare me, you know, and that's and that's it for me. That's it for me. So it was tough. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was tough. But afterwards, I just brush it off. Say, you know, last time I checked, those who say they're the ones, you know, like sorry, it was more so that if you're gonna be like acting all crazy like that and saying stuff like that to me and acting like you know, in intelligence, if I could say that, right? Then you're the real, you know, NIGGER here, right? I'm just pushing. So yeah, that's it for me.
But like the first time or the first couple of times, you don't know how to respond. You don't know what to do, how to act. It's kind of like no one really prepares you for that.
Yeah.
Like my parents didn't tell me you're going to be called all these names growing up, and it starts really young. Like unfortunately, it starts extremely young, and I feel like with time we learn how to act in those situations. And just like we were talking before about like being Black and reading the room, depending on the situation, you will not react the same way.
Yeah.
Like if someone calls me the NIGGER, it's like the first time you're like, oh my God, like what just happened? And then sometimes it's like, okay, like I know I'm comfortable enough in my own skin, and like what you say, I feel like I'm gonna hit this. What you say, but like that belongs to you. But like don't project that onto me. And then a couple of times, like when it happens, you just brush it off. But it can still hurt, like you said, depending on the day, depending on who it is. If it's like a so-called friend or a complete stranger, it will like pinch your heart because you're not expecting it. It's like out of nowhere sometimes. Like it can literally be a random person on the street, and like it's just like, well, what did I do?
Which happened
You
to me,
most of the time didn't do anything. It's uncalled for, and it's just it can really just get you by surprise.
Yeah. With the information that you guys are giving right now, I feel like most of the time when you were told this word, it was from little kids when you were younger.
Oh no,
Even adults.
to this day, yeah. The last time I was
it more like when you were younger that it usually happened?
Oh no,
I say more growing up.
Yeah, even to this day, man. When I work at a call center, man, like they once know that I have a Black voice,
Listen.
yo, and that thing comes out of nowhere. I mean, last time I was called that, I would say I was walking on Lennoxville, and I remember the car, like the plates, everything. I ain't gonna say that because you know I ain't gonna dox it. Yeah, but I just because I was so mad because I was walking, have a beautiful day. My melanin was shining, it was getting darker. You know, I was getting vitamin D, right? Oh man, it was a great day, man. My brain was on point too, and all of a sudden I heard it, and I had the stinkiest face. I was like, just no, I had the most disgusting stink face, right? And then like I was ready to like wreak havoc on this person, right? But they just drove off in their busted 2007 Hyundai Civic. So I was like, you know what? At this point, like I can't be bothered. Right? I was mad. I was hella mad, but I was like, all right, I'm gonna go get something to drink.
Yeah, but we're also taught not to react, because if we react, it's almost as if we provoke them to call us all those names.
Or if anything, they give them more reason why to say it's true, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's not only like calling names. I feel like the way people act. I've encountered very subtle racism. Like they don't necessarily need to say the word.
Microaggressions.
Exactly. The way they speak to you, the way they look at you, the way they act towards you. That's intense. And I think that what we need to do is really open the conversation. I feel like people base themselves on one story that they experienced, maybe a conversation they had or an encounter with another Black person, and it might not have gone well. And they right away base it on that experience. But what we need to do is help them like get over that, show them that, you know, it's not always what you saw, basically.
Yeah, I think it's important to talk about it.
Yeah.
And to like, if you perceive a situation in a certain way and someone else perceives the same situation differently, like it's okay. But I just think for everyone's like mental health, just to talk about it and like don't keep it in. And like even especially for children, like most of them. I say most of them, some of them might not even be aware that they're Black or that they're different until they have a certain experience or they reach a certain age. So what you're saying is super, super important. Yeah.
And I think that people are scared to have conversations sometimes because they don't want to hurt your feelings. But I'd rather you talk to me about it instead of saying something very ignorant, you know?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think that as Black people, I think that we're not always open to having conversations. And I think that even like talking about my hair, sometimes I don't want to talk about it, but I feel like we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
So that you stop asking me questions.
It is a staple.
And, you know, I don't necessarily want to talk about it every single time, but I try my best to. And, you know, I hope that it helps so that they don't have those same stereotypes that they used to have, you know?
Yeah, and some people are coming from a place of actually wanting to know. Like, they just don't know. Some people are coming from a place of judgment. Like, is this your real hair?
Yeah.
Like, why do you care? Like,
At some point, like, listen,
I was gonna say
I will say this at this point, right? Like, at some point, I get it, and that's like the most like nicest way ever. But you know, Google exists, you know that, right? Like I swear, there are like 10 Black comedians on the top of my head I can list right now. I can tell you, listen, I love y'all people from all colors and races and different places, but y'all can't be saying some, you know, some
stuff.
some
But-
situations to us like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it's just. Like, it is exhausting, man. Like, I love talking about this because this is going to be my career for, like, almost my entire life, right? I enjoy talking about our history, right? Whether it be from like, close to me or outside or internationally, right? The thing is, though, I am not some walking Black encyclopedia that you can, like, ask me all these questions. Like, you know, it's draining like a yeah.
and
It's
it's
just,
okay not to have all the answers.
yeah, it's like, listen, look, I just be me. You feel me? I just be me. I just need I need to step back, right? Let me just recess this. But until then, like, just look at a dictionary, you know, like not dictionary, but just look at Google.
Well, even a dictionary can
yeah,
be
even
useful.
the dictionary can definitely be
But
useful as well.
that's what being Black is. I think that we need to be taken accountable for that too. It's not only like living in our culture, but sharing our culture too. And also, yes, they can Google it, find some information on social media, but social media does give some bad information
Oh, yeah,
sometimes, and it
yeah.
portrays Black people
Yeah.
A
in a
certain
certain
way.
manner, and we don't necessarily want that too. So
Yeah, but it shouldn't be our duty to educate people.
Yeah.
true.
That's like that's where I personally
try.
draw the line.
Yeah,
like
me too.
I will give you information,
Yeah.
but I will not be like a walking Google or encyclopedia
Yeah.
for you, because then it could become draining for yourself, like for your health. Like if you're always trying to explain what you're doing or why you're doing it, or if someone asked you about your hair every single day, wouldn't you be like really tired about it?
Like a
even
son.
just like 3 or 4 days later. Right, so it doesn't have to be like repetitively.
Yeah.
Is it
got
on
it.
me? Is my hair on me?
Listen, I bought it.
then
All
it's
right,
mine.
it belongs
There
to
you
me.
go.
There you go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
This is very funny because when people ask you, "Is this your hair?" Like they ask you, "Is that your pants? Is that your shirt?"
Oh my gosh.
Even if it's on me, I bought it. It became mine, and
Exactly.
it's very interesting because when you're saying go Google it, I'm thinking, is the girl next to me in class wearing real hair? Not how to find out.
It was short one day and then long the other one. What's
Yes. Back to the question. I would like to share my experience actually about you guys are spelling it, the NI word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine because for me that word doesn't come as an insult or anything because where I grew up, well, learning history. So as you see, like the country Nigeria or Niger, those countries have that name. But what we don't know is that word truly means royalty.
Yeah, neither.
When I learned that in my history classes back in Africa, it was it was a pride to be called that way. It's good because people are calling you queen and king, so it's really okay. And about the monkey part, I grew up with a monkey. Like our pet home was a monkey. It's like calling a kid, "Oh, my little sweet cat," or "My baby Minu," something like that. For me, it was never an insult. So when people say it, I'm like, I think you have more issues than me. And I would like to share something. It's this man who said, when someone hurts you, when someone wants to hurt you, like people who are saying those things, when you're actually working for them, you're helping them, but they still insult you.
Yep.
So when someone does something to make you suffer, it's because somehow deeply inside of them, they are suffering.
Yeah.
And doing that, it's like a call for help. Yeah, so we should see it that way instead of like, oh, these people are hating on me. It's like they are so full of hate, full of anger, and so many other emotions we cannot understand that we just find a stranger and insult him for no reason, really.
Yeah.
So we should actually like have more compassion to those people than anything else.
Yeah.
Because we as Kerwin has been saying, we know who we are.
Yeah.
So if they
Yeah.
don't know what, it's not our issue, it's not our problem. We know who we are. That's their problem. We don't have to take it on us.
Yeah.
Just give them the energy. If we are strong and brave enough, we'll be like, let me educate you what that word means. But you don't have to do that. Anyways, we have 5 more minutes left, and I have like really 2 important questions that I would like us to go to. It's the 2 cards I told you to put on the side.
Yes.
So I will go with the number 8 first, right?
Okay.
So let's say you have like 1 minute left before your expiration date. You know, we all have an expiration date.
Of course.
We don't want to talk about it, but it's there. So I would like to ask you, what message would you give to the entire humanity? Like, what is the impact would you like to leave? So what's the message would you give in 1 minute each, please?
So I'm gonna go Kerwins. Please start and keep it under a minute.
Listen, no, ladies first, man. I'm a gentleman. Y'all do
20
it. Nah,
seconds.
20 seconds. Okay, go.
Me? Oh, wow. Okay. What's some of them? Okay. Something I have to leave in the world. Wow. This is okay. Okay.
Do you want me to go?
Yes. Go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I would just say, love everyone the way you want to be loved. Treat people the way you want to be treated, and definitely live your life on your own terms, because we spend too much time trying to impress other people and trying to act like other people and trying to be other people, but not enough being ourselves and accepting ourselves and loving ourselves.
Wow.
I just came up with that on the spot.
Wow, that was
Good,
good.
that's perfect.
That was
Next.
very good.
Jenny, please go ahead.
Jenny. Whoa. Okay. I don't think mine is gonna be as good, but I'd say that just live in the moment, because I think that we are always trying to look at the next thing and always trying to be better, because of maybe stereotypes that people have of us. And I found myself in a situation where I was always putting pressure on myself. And I think that just living in the moment, doing your best, as you said, and just live life day by day and live life by your own terms, basically. I have nothing else to say, to be honest.
And enjoy your life.
And enjoy your life.
It goes by fast.
Yeah, very.
Okay, in that case, if it's my turn, and if I could say something in 20 seconds, it's just be the best version of you, not the perfect version of you, because nothing is perfect in this world that I know of. Be the best version of you, and most importantly, live your life not as your last, but if you were in a funeral, right, like you're in your casket, and around you saw your dreams and like unfinished projects all surrounding you, right? Would that room be full, or will that room contain very minimal to no people? If it's full, then you got a lot of work to do, and make sure that you don't leave this world with regret. And yeah, that's it. That's it for me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So the last thing that I want to talk about is like there's this thing I've been doing this entire week leading to this day, because I thought to myself, this is a very important discussion we're going to have. This is something I wanted to do for a very long time that I never had the opportunity. And I'm so grateful for Black History and Baobab and all the people who are, in contribution to this.
Amen.
It's about wishing for things. So if you could wish for anything you want in one word and you will get it, what would you wish for? So I'm gonna let you think about it as I share one of me. So I've been doing like wishes for the last 9 days. Tonight is the last one. And one of the wishes I made and I would like to share with you is end of vengeance. Forgiving, stopping, we want things to go better. But I keep saying, yes, we do want that, and it should be. But before we go there, we should ask ourselves, like, a question. Do I want harmony? Do I want this wonderful peace and love to come with someone who needs to pay? Do we have to have always someone who needs to pay? So if you ask yourself, does someone need to pay for me to feel okay, for me to feel like this time has to come? If your answer is no, perhaps you should ask yourself that you might be ready to go forward. But if your answer is yes, then someone needs to pay and you need to venge yourself for something to be better. Ask yourself why you stay in a place that hurts you when you want to heal. So that was my wish. End of vengeance, end of all those things, end of saying hot people, hot people. No, maybe hot people knows how being hot is. And when they get the chance to do something, they will do it differently because they want others to hurt. So how about you? What would you wish for?
I'm like emotional in my head right now. I'm like, whoo.
I'll keep mine very simple. I wish to be more grateful, and I wish everyone to be more grateful, because I feel like we're always looking for the next best thing, looking at what others are doing. But if you look at your life, like, there's so many good things happening around. And if you don't realize that, then you keep on stressing out yourself, and mental health is a real thing, you know? So you don't want to go there. So definitely being more grateful. I just wish that on everyone, because when you realize that, you know, like, you're just happy. And I try to do things, I try to write 3 things I'm grateful for every day, and it definitely helps me. So I wish that for everyone.
Gratitude, that's
Yeah,
nice.
gratitude.
Yeah.
For me, if I could wish anything, is less choices. Maybe you ask myself, why are less choices? According to the Buddhist perspective, you know, to suffer is the desire, right? So to always, you know, chase for happiness or gratitude and so on and so forth. So with less choices, I do believe that you will have at least inner peace to an extent. And with that being said, with less choices, I do believe you will know exactly what you want and actually know what you actually need, and not just simply on the wants. And yeah, that's it. Just less choices. Yeah, less choices.
Interesting. My wish would be more acceptance of different people. Yes, I already gave him a treat. Less taboos, for people to be comfortable having uncomfortable conversations, and to really remove the stigma around mental health. I think that just in general, if people are more accepting of differences, diversity, and just even if it's different ideologies, I just feel like in general, if people were to be more, if people were to accept more, you know, and just really remove all those stigmas or taboos about so many different subjects, it would just make communication a lot easier, and in my opinion, better, because if I'm able to talk to you or you or anyone, you know, just without you already having a preconceived idea, let's say mental health, about like everyone's crazy because they have like a mental health diagnosis, like, you know, like, just if you just people have more open mind in general. So I guess I can't really say that I have one specific wish, but just that I guess it would be for people to be more just open-minded, and for people to accept more, and to remove the taboos, and just to spread the love. I feel like I'm a hippie right now, but just like peace and love, and yeah.
I'm so grateful that you mentioned mental health, because it was one of the subjects, but you know what? We have to follow the time. Less choices. You wished for it, and here we are. So I'm going to go with, I'm very grateful to have shared this discussion with you guys. You guys are amazing. You told me so much tonight, and I hope everyone who's listening, who's following us, gained this nourishment as well. So I'm gonna, welcome people to keep asking questions, and we can keep this discussion in the comments, and we can keep going.
Yes.
So I think this is it for us tonight. Happy rest of the week of the Black History Month, and you know what? We should celebrate for the rest of the year. We shouldn't just say 1 month. It's when we focus on the Black issues and stuff. It should be a daily thing.
Oh, for sure. But, February is blackity black, black, black on black on black. On the side of black, don't hold the Black History Month, okay? So, yeah. But
then be black, black, blah, 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 black all the time. Be that all day.
All day, every day.
Thank you so much to you, I say.
Send us off.
Merci. Est-ce qu'on m'entend? Oui, parfait. Merci beaucoup pour cette discussion.
Merci à vous.
Merci à vous. ouais.
Je me suis concentrée, j'ai compris beaucoup de choses. Je vais vous épargner mon anglais à la maison, ça va être mieux pour tout le monde. Mais merci infiniment pour cette discussion. Puis ça nous tenait à cœur au Baobab et à Black History de faire une discussion pour la communauté anglophone. Donc on espère que ça a plu et qu'on va pouvoir renouveler ce type de discussion-là. Donc merci infiniment à tous les 4. Tous les 5. Alors pour la prochaine activité, vendredi soir, on a la Fédération des communautés culturelles de l'Estrie, le Centre des femmes La Passerelle du Haut-Saint-François qui organise une activité, les contributeurs noirs, d'ascendance africaine, au développement de l'Estrie. Donc on vous invite à être présents vendredi soir, toujours sur nos pages Facebook respectives. Le 26 février, notre soirée de clôture, on y est déjà. C'est la dernière semaine de nos activités. Donc, on vous attend nombreux. Il y a encore des places de disponibles avec un souper qui est réalisé par le chef Jean Rony aux saveurs haïtiennes, des artistes qui vont venir performer tout au long de la soirée, un DJ qui va être là pour nous ambiancer. Donc, on compte sur vous. Il reste quelques places de disponibles. Si vous voulez vous procurer les billets, vous pouvez aller sur le site du Café Baobab ou aussi sur la page Instagram de Black History. Le lien est directement dans la biographie. Je voulais aussi revenir sur les livres à colorier dont j'ai parlé au début là, de l'activité. Donc, c'est des livres qui sont gratuits, qui présentent 10 dessins de citoyens à colorier, de personnalités noires de la région. Donc, ils sont disponibles gratuitement dans le croque-livre, juste en avant de la porte d'entrée du Café Baobab, au 1551 rue du Nant. Et je pense que c'était tout. Est-ce que j'ai oublié des choses ? Non, tout est beau. Je vous souhaite à tous, à toutes, j'arrête pas de commencer par les hommes, donc à toutes et à tous, une excellente soirée. Bye bye. Yeah.